Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 4 tutorial, and in this video we are going to create ourselves a custom character, and also we are going to import a lot of meshes, and we are going to use them for our clothing and equipment system. So let's begin by importing the assets. I will have the download link in the description. The character was made in Make Human. You can check the software out in the makehumancommunity.org. It is a free software, and I have a lot of meshes here, and it is very important to import the base character first so that it would create us a skeleton, and then we will use this skeleton for the rest of the clothing. And also we have a static meshes. These will be used for our pickup items, so we need like two separate types because we need to use the characters' physics and movements to work with our clothing. So I'm gonna go to the third person folder, and inside of here I'm gonna create a new folder, and I'm gonna call this characters, because maybe eventually we'll import multiple, but for now I'm gonna make another one female because I have a female character. So I'm gonna import the base character, and there is one very important thing that we need to do. We need to show advanced here, and we need to click on this use TO as reference pose, because otherwise some bones do not really work in the Unreal Engine correctly if we do not check this. So make sure you check this and then import all. So now we have our character imported. Here we have a skeleton that we are going to use for all of our clothings, and also the skeleton mesh itself as this woman. So now when we have these assets, I'm gonna create another folder here, and I'm gonna call this clothing. Actually, clothing skeletons. And I'm gonna just import all the rest of the objects. And very important thing, now we need to select the skeleton, and we need to use this base character female skeleton. Also need to use this use T0 as reference pose and import all. So now we have a lot of different equipable items, like a blouse, couple of jeans, quite a few shoes, and some other clothing pieces. And I'm gonna go back to my content browser. In my inventory system items folder, I'm gonna create a new folder which I'm gonna call clothing, and in here we are going to import our static meshes. Actually, I could create another folder, and I'm gonna call this female, and just drag these in. And for this, I think the default settings were good enough. Yeah, nothing needs to be changed here, so just import all. So now we have our static meshes as well, and that's all for the assets right now. So I'm gonna go back to my female character, and I'm gonna open up this base character female skeletal mesh, and I'm going to click on this create asset, create animation, and current pose, and I will name this female character idle, because we are going to create a couple of animations within the Unreal Engine. And now we are going to create a couple of animations for our female character, and as you can see down here we have 0 frames, so we need to add a few. So I'm gonna right click here, press on the append at the end, and I'm gonna append 22 frames. There we go. I'm gonna pause the animation and go to the first frame, 0, I guess. In the computers we start with 0, and I'm gonna select the upper arms, and I'm gonna rotate them in like so. to give them a little bit more of a realistic feel, I guess. There we go. And also the lower arms, like so, and the other one, there we go. And also I want to put the legs closer together so they're not that much spread out. So we need to look for our upper leg. There we go. That's a bit much, so I'm gonna go here, change this rotation grid snap to 5 degrees instead of 10, and this looks way better. And the other leg, there we go. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna press the S key on the keyboard, and this will save our bone locations. And now in the middle of this animation, let's say frame 11, I'm going to move my chest and my head a little bit so that it would look like she's breathing. So I'm gonna look for the I guess spine 1 maybe. Let's see. Press S again, and it made it that way in the whole animation. So I need to go back to the first frame, rotate this back, S. So if we move now, we can see she's moving, and at the last frame also we need to move this back to the default position and press S. Do it once, otherwise if you press it multiple times, sometimes it glitches out and it throws you back a step or something. And so now if you press play, oh, it looks like she's praying to God or something. We can slow the animation down here in the rate scale. I'm gonna type 0.5. And I think this will be good for the idle animation, so I'm gonna save this animation. Here we have it. And now I'm going to press Ctrl W to duplicate it, and I'm gonna call this one female walk, and I'm going to create a walk animation. So that's my walk animation, and for the third animation, which is going to be an attack animation, I'm going to duplicate my idle animation again. I'm going to rename this to attack, and this is going to be super simple. Now that all of our animations are set up, my attack animation is a little funny, but I will work on it later on. Now what we can do is select all of our animations, right click and save them so that we wouldn't lose them. And now let's put this character into action. First, what we need to do is we need to create a animation blueprint, and we need to base this off of our base female character, and I'm gonna call this female char BP, anim BP. There we go. Now let's open this. Let's leave this for later, because first we need another animation blend space blueprint, and also need to base this off of our base female character, and I'm gonna call this female blend female BS. Yeah, there we go. And here I'm gonna select the asset details, and here under the axis settings I'm gonna drop down horizontal and vertical axis. If you have multiple animations that are like running sideways or to sides, then here we can set the degrees, let's say like -180 till 180, which gives us a full rotation from -180 till 180. So if we rotate, then we can like set different animations for that, but I don't have them right now, so I'm not gonna set them. And here under the vertical axis we need to set the speeds of our character, and for me they are going to be from 0 till 600 pixels per second or something, I guess, not really sure, but that will be my max speed, 600. And now in this spot right here I'm going to drag in my animation. So in this middle 0 point I'm gonna drag in the idle animation. There we go. And in the top I'm gonna add the walk animation. So if we now move this green thing higher, we can see that the character is walking. There we go. I'm gonna save this, go back to my character animation blueprint, and here under the final pose I'm gonna drag from the result, and I'm going to create a state machine which will determine which animation we need to use. And for now this is going to be super simple. All I'm gonna do here is I'm going to add a state which I'm gonna call movement. I'm gonna double click this, and I'm going to drag in my female blend space like so. Connect these, and if you have the direction animations, then what you can do is here under the names you can set this to direction, and here this will be speed. If we save this, then over here we can see that direction and speed variables. Since I don't have directions, I'm not going to plug this in, but for the speed I'm going to promote to a variable, and I'm gonna call this speed. And I'm gonna go to my event graph, and here we already have a pre-made event animation update, and I'm going to cast to third person character, and I'm gonna use this try get pawn owner as an object. Now as our third person character I'm going to get the velocity of our character, and from this vector we are going to get we're just going to vector length squared like so, and we're going to set our speed to this vector length squared. As simple as that. So we compile and save. Now we can go to, here we have everything set up. Yes, and now we can go to our third person character blueprint. I'm gonna open up the viewport, select the mesh, skeletal mesh, and I'm gonna change this to my base character female. Whoa, it's very big, so I'm going to scale this down even more. I made this a little bit too big, but that's not a problem. There we go. Move her up a bit, maybe like so. Yeah, seems good. There we go. And for the animations, we need to select here in the animation class, we need to find our female character animation blueprint, and we have a character. Let's test this out. Press play. Here we have our female, but she's hanging in the air. When she's walking, she's fine, sort of, but she's a bit in the air. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to go to my animations, and for the idle animation, I'm just going to select my root bone, and I'm just going to put her on the ground. So you will have to play a bit with these bones to make them fit to your needs. My animations are a little clunky, but I will work on them later on. And I'm going to add another animation, which is going to be our attack animation, so that we wouldn't have to import it or create it later, I guess. So I'm going to go back to my animation blueprint here, and I'm going to drag from this outer line, and I'm going to add a new state, which I'm going to call attack. And as you can see, we have a arrow pointing down from the movement to attack, so this allows us to move from these animations to these, and we also need a way back, like so. And for this, I'm going to double click, and as a result, I'm going to drag in our attack and connect these two. There we go. And if I compile, it gives us an error. That is because we have not set up the condition when can the character change the animation. So I'm going to select this arrow first, which goes from movement to attack, and I need to add a new variable, which I'm gonna call is attacking, which is going to be a boolean. So if this is set to true, then we can change the animation to attack animation. And for the other one, to go back to movement, I'm gonna drag in this is attacking, and I'm going to make sure that this is equal to false, and connect this because we need a true value at the result. So there we go. We have set this up, but we don't have a thing that says whether we are attacking or we're not. So I'm gonna open up my third person character, go to the event graph, and mouse left click. We're going to add a attack. So now I have this build mode, which checks if is the build mode open, and if the build mode is not open, then I'm going to do a delay of 2 seconds, I guess. And also I'm going to add a new variable, which is going to be is attacking, just like in the animation blueprint. I'm gonna connect this like so, So if the build mode is not turned on, then we are going to attack. So we're going to set is attacking to true. Wait for 2 seconds, and then we're going to reset this is attacking back to false. And now in the animation blueprint, we can go to our event graph, drag from our third person character, and we need to get is attacking, and we need to set this is attacking variable, which is in our animation blueprint, like so. So now we can file and save, and we're attacking, but the animation is too short, I guess, because we are almost attacking once more. So I'm going to, well, there are two options. We could make this animation longer, or we can just make the delay a little smaller, let's say 1.8. And if we attack, yes, great, excellent. So that's going to be it for this video. Adjust your animations to your likings, and in the next video we are going to begin with our equipment system. So see you guys in the next video.